Good morning, everyone. Can I ask everybody to take a seat as we are live streaming, and I'd like to get this party started. Well, welcome everyone, and it is so heart-filling to see so many people in the room. It's been 3 years since we've had our annual Global Talent Conference here at the Fantasyland, and we're so happy to be back. And I'd like to maybe if we could just give a round of applause to the staff here at the Fantasyland. I know they were really happy to see us back. So I'm here to give you the official welcome, and this is our 2023 Alberta Global Talent Conference. We're pleased to be hosting once again this annual Premier Career Mentorship and Networking event, which, by the way, is our 13th conference. And we are here live and in person and broadcasting to you from the West Edmonton Mall here in Edmonton, to all our friends in the province of Alberta and to all points beyond. I almost feel like we're at the Junos. My name is Doug Piquette, Executive Director of the Edmonton Region Immigrant Employment Council. My co-host was to be Niketi Johnston-Taylor, the ED of our sister office in Calgary, Triac, but was not able to join us today due to unforeseen circumstances, so I have the distinct honor of being your MC today. So prepare yourselves as we have planned a very full agenda for you all. Both Eric and Triac are business-led nonprofits, charitable organizations. Our vision is that all professionally trained immigrants are valued and participate in the workforce at their full potential. We accomplish this by collaborating with employers and community stakeholders at all three levels of government to deliver mentorship and networking program streams. Before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to respectfully acknowledge that the province of Alberta is comprised of Treaty 6, Treaty 7, and Treaty 8 territories, the traditional lands of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. Let's please watch a very special prayer and blessing by Patrick Gagnon, a Cree elder and cultural advisor with the Niskanawa Community Services Association. Elder Patrick.
I was invited here today to do a blessing and blessing. My name is Patrick. I just want to acknowledge everybody. Thank you very much. So with that, tayo no siman tuihon. Nanas ko na naskagisiga ko ta naskawastapya. Tan sumagirap na taskatamak na muktawi no tasawin ko ya tasawito ako kakyo. I also want to acknowledge the sponsors, the funders, RBC, and federal and provincial government. But I also want to acknowledge the staff, the people that organized this conference here today. And with blessings, I also ask for that respect. I also ask for that kindness. Because of the smudging and the prayer, we created what we call ethical space. And in this space, we practice sanctified kindness amongst each other. So keep your hearts and your minds open and share and speak and listen. So with that, friends, thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Elder Patrick. Alberta needs skilled immigrants, and in some cases, they need us. When newcomers to our country have the right information, adequate support, and their skills appropriately recognized, they can integrate successfully into the local labor market and optimize their contribution to the economy, community, and to family. We need professional newcomers, and that means each one of you. In order for us to remain competitive globally and to become prosperous in our communities and our province. This morning, we have a very special guest today to open up our conference. The Honorable Rajan Sawhney was appointed as Alberta's Minister of Trade, Immigration and Multiculturalism on October 24th, 2022. Honorables.
Thank you for the introduction and good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here this morning, and I always start off my initial remarks with some words from the heart because I think it's important for all of us to share our stories as often as we can. Now, I have often talked about my father and his journey to this beautiful country. My dad immigrated to Canada in 1969, and he was the first, in fact, the only child in his family to attain a university education in India. And he didn't only have one degree, he actually had 2 degrees in education and a Bachelor of Arts. So when he came to Canada, he had dreams and he had aspirations. He had taught in India and he thought, he would work really hard and get into the labor force and become a teacher. That was always his dream. But at the time, as many of you can imagine, some of you are newcomers in this room, those listening virtually are also newcomers, many of them. Life gets in the way. You're trying to pay the bills, you want to get into housing, you want to make sure that your family is taken care of. So even though he tried, he was never able to fulfill his dream of becoming a teacher. And he worked at Canadian Pacific Railways. It was a manual labor job. And he would come home from work and look at his hands before he washed them. And I said to him one day, I said, "Dad, what are you doing?" He said, "You know what? I was a farmer back home, and I never thought that I would see dirt on my hands again when I came to Canada." So despite this story, my father is a very successful man. He's done extremely well in life. And as time passed, and I became a bit more aware of some of the supports that were available for newcomers and new immigrants, I said, "Dad, why didn't you avail yourself of this support?" There was an organization in those days called Manpower. And he said, "Rajan, I just didn't know." Now fast forward to 2022. I'm a politician. I do a lot of door knocking, and in my constituency of Calgary Northeast, we have a very, very ethnically diverse population. I stopped at one home, and it was very interesting. He was a truck driver, and I asked him, I said, "Well, tell me more about yourself." He told me about the company that he worked for. I was the Minister of Transportation at the time. And he said, "Oh, and by the way, I'm trained as an engineer." So as I delved more into his story, he told me that he had an engineering background. He had work experience back home. And I said to him, "Have you been to the Center for Newcomers? Have you been to Calgary Catholic Immigration Services? Have you talked to immigrant services in Calgary?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Why not?" And he said, "I just didn't know." So the same story, pretty much 50 years later, that there is a deficit of knowledge for people who are new to this country, new to this province. And the reality is that we need to make sure that there are mentors and supporters out there, and that we're telling other people that we meet that there are supports available, particularly the supports that are provided by CRIAC and IRAC and other organizations in this city and across the province. And I have to say, and many of you will probably agree with me, that many of the journeys that some of us have experienced, and certainly for me, has been defined by foreign credential recognitions or lack thereof. This has an impact on families when they can't enter the labor force and actualize their potential. It has mental health impacts, it has economic impacts, and that is why I always give this message over and over again, that there should be no reason any longer for newcomers who come to this country to say that I just didn't know. So if you have done well, if you have made it as per your own definition, please pay it forward. please do ensure that you help other people who have been in a similar boat connect to those supports and services that were of benefit to you. So these are my words from the heart. Now I'm going to get into my official remarks. Once again, good morning to you all, and I'm so pleased to have been invited to bring greetings today from Premier Danielle Smith on behalf of the Government of Alberta. As was mentioned, my name is Rajan Sawhney. I'm the Minister of Trade, Immigration, and Multiculturalism for the province of Alberta and the MLA for Calgary Northeast. Now, my title is really long, Trade, Immigration, and Multiculturalism, so I shorten it to TIM, like Tim Hortons, so you'll never forget now. As the Minister responsible for trade, I recognize that the Alberta Global Talent Conference is an excellent opportunity to connect international talent with our business community. It's also an opportunity for sharing strategies for overcoming challenges that may keep you from using your education and experience to reach your full potential in Alberta. The theme of this year's conference reflects this purpose, from surviving to thriving in Alberta. Alberta has incredible opportunities for a great life and career, which is likely why you're here today. You are an important part of the skilled and talented workforce that Alberta businesses need to grow a prosperous future for our province. With that in mind, it is worth looking at what draws so many international professionals to Alberta. The Alberta Advantage provides real benefits for newcomers. Alberta has affordable housing, low taxes, and jobs available across many sectors, including aviation, technology, engineering, healthcare, and construction, and so much more. Alberta's government has also built and nurtured an environment that provides significant settlement supports for newcomers to our province. We recognize the importance of targeted programs that ensure a smooth transition to a new life in Alberta. That is why, when approved, Budget 2023 will provide $50 million over the next 3 years for settlement and integration initiatives. And that's why I say supports are available and we have to make sure that people know about them. This includes support for the recognition of international qualifications. ERAC and CRIAC, along with many other organizations, are an important part of this ecosystem. Their mentorship programs build newcomers' professional networks and get their unique skills and talents recognized and leveraged by our business community. The Government of Alberta knows that programs like those offered by ERAC and CRIAC are incredibly important. That is why we have already invested more than $2.8 million in the Alberta Immigrant Mentorship Grant. The grant supports programs for newcomers to find opportunities that match their skills in the labor market. Our government is also committed to ensuring newcomers find Alberta's communities welcoming and inclusive. And I will just pause here and tell you that I am very deeply committed to ensuring that we have the social and economic fabric constructed and made more resilient here in Alberta so that it's welcoming and celebratory of all, not merely accepting, but celebratory. The Alberta Anti-Racism Advisory Council and the Anti-Racism Action Plan have already begun to chart a course to a future free from racism and discrimination. Through the Multicultural and Anti-Racism Grant, we are enabling Alberta's ethnocultural groups to share their unique traditions and stories with all Albertans. By learning more about each other, we will increase understanding and create more spaces where everybody is welcome. Now, I have been fortunate over these past months to meet many new Albertans and hear firsthand about their experiences and successes in our province. Many of these accomplishments are aided by the programs provided by Alberta's immigrant-serving organizations, as I've mentioned many times already, like ERAC and CRIAC. But they're also due to the resiliency, drive, and problem-solving spirit of individuals, traits that are characteristic of Albertans in general. The history of Alberta has grown to include generations of newcomers from all corners of the globe, and I can see this very clearly in this room. Our province is stronger because of people like you who come to Alberta and enrich our social and economic and cultural fabric. I hope that you will learn a lot today. I hope today's conference will be very meaningful and will resonate with many of you. And I hope that what you learn here today will help you overcome any obstacles that you might be experiencing so that you don't just merely survive, so that you do thrive in Alberta. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm committed to helping ensure come about in our beautiful province. Thank you for the invitation to join you all today. And once again, I hope you enjoy the day and stay in touch. You can reach me if you Google me on the website and my contact information for my office. It's all there. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Sani. Thank you for your heartfelt words. And I'm going to share just a quick anecdote. I was honored this year to receive the Queen's Jubilee, a Platinum Jubilee Medal. And Minister Sani was the one who actually pinned it on me. And we had a moment. And I just wanted to share with you, I mean, I meet a lot of ministers over the years and the years that I've been involved with Eric. And Minister Sani at one point, as she was pinning the medal on me, nobody could hear. It was just this sort of whispered sort of advice. And she just said, you know, we need programs like Eric and CRIAC and other programs, of course, who are represented here today to help make this vision a reality. And I really appreciated it. I thought that was a very authentic moment, and I know you believe it. I can, you know, it's something that I really appreciated, and thank you for that. Now I'd like to take another moment to acknowledge our main sponsors who have made this event possible. Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship Canada, IRCC, we have our project officer sitting at the reserve table, is a major funder of CRIAC and Eric's programs and is the largest sponsor of the event. Government of Alberta is also a major funder of Eric's programs and is a much appreciated sponsor of this event as well. Vince Kelly sitting at the table as well at the reserved edition of our guests. Thank you, RBC Royal Bank, for being again our exclusive corporate sponsor and for providing us with so many years of professional mentors, and we've really appreciated their contributions to our program. Thank you to our corporate deluxe sponsors this year, Chartered Professional Accountants of Alberta, CPA. Javier, thank you for being here and your team. And Norquest College, I believe Minuka might be here, I'm not sure. Don't see her waving. She'll probably be here later to introduce one of the guest speakers. And to our corporate silver sponsors, Ripon and Windmill Micro Lending. Can everyone please join me in expressing our appreciation and gratitude for these generous organizations, and thank you for supporting the work that we do. Now, I have a few short housekeeping announcements. First, a reminder to please turn your phones to silent or even to turn them off completely, if you don't mind. And in case of emergency, the fire exits are at the back. You can see where the red signs are, the exits and the top of the exits. Toilets and washrooms you will find just to the right of the registration desk. And that's, you probably noted that when you got your name tags. This is a public event, so photos and videos will be taken, but if you're not comfortable with that, please inform the photographer and videographer if you don't want your photo taken. The marketplace. We would invite you to take some time today to visit the exhibitor booths at the back of the ballroom, which is up against that wall over there, if you haven't already. So the marketplace will be open during the coffee and lunch breaks, and once again, some additional time from 3 to 4 p.m. this afternoon. You can see the list of exhibitors on the screen behind me and also in your participant package. There's also a resource table set up with promotional materials of several of our community partners who have been very helpful in promoting this event and have always been supportive to all of our programs and events. At this same booth, you will also find information about our programming streams, the Career Mentorship Program, and networking programs. Now, those of you unfamiliar with the work we do at ERIC, I'd like to tell people that we strategically convene people. Relationships are built and information is exchanged, and that you make Alberta your home. I can also tell you that our programs help newcomers to be successful in their careers and can participate in the economy at their full potential. Which brings me to our theme title of our event today, The Immigrant Leader, From Surviving to Thriving in Canada. On behalf of the CRIAC and ERIC board and staff, I'm pleased to welcome you all to our 2023 Alberta Global Talent Conference, and I challenge you all to leverage this day as an opportunity to connect, learn, and apply what you learned today as you navigate your career journeys. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Jade Boxrud, Community Manager for RBC. Jade is representing RBC today as they are our exclusive corporate sponsor for the conference. Jade has been a mentor in our program and currently is active and current board member. After the brief video, Jade will tell us a little bit more about RBC and will introduce our keynote speakers. Jade.
This is RBC. This is also RBC. This is definitely RBC. This too. Some people think RBC is still like this, but that's just not the case. This is what we actually look like. This is how many people work at RBC, and these are some of the places they work. This is RBC volunteering at Race for the Kids. People here volunteer a lot, not because they have to, but because they want to make a difference. Like here, and here, and here. This is an RBC hackathon. This is one of the ways RBC creates new and exciting futures. These are some RBC employees at work. With unique challenges, they're constantly unlocking their potential, except for when they're taking a break. This is them doing just that. This is recognized year over year as the Global Retail Bank of the Year and one of Canada's best diversity employers. Most importantly, this is Paul Washa, and you could sit next to Paul Washa if you were to join us. She's hilarious. This is RBC. Let's work together.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Jade Boxrud, and I'm a proud ERIC mentor, board member, and a director of enablement at RBC. And I'm honored to be involved in today's events. At RBC, our purpose of helping clients thrive and communities prosper is core to who we are as an organization and can only be achieved when everyone has the opportunity to achieve their fullest potential. I welcome you throughout the course of the day. We have a table over in the marketplace. Pleased that we have two dedicated newcomer teams, one based out of Edmonton, one based out of Calgary. And it's a team of newcomers who have navigated the same road that you're on and are pleased to support. They provide financial literacy for newcomers and support navigating the professional world and sharing some of the challenges and experience that they've had. I'm really pleased today to introduce our keynote speakers who will speak on from surviving to thriving. Media Sheikh Hassan is an award-winning social entrepreneur and a Schwartzman Scholar with a background in sciences, engineering, and global affairs. She is currently the strategic partner and thought leadership manager at Ripon, the world's largest online work-integrated learning marketplace. Media was awarded the Queen's Young Leaders Award from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Media is a Facebook Social Media Entrepreneurship Award winner and a winner of the CBC Trailblazer Award for Leadership in supporting and addressing challenges faced by refugees and amputees. And she is joined by Dalibor Petrovic, who is a partner at Deloitte, leading Deloitte's Canadian Tech Executive Program and Services, which works to keep industry champions and government leaders and their organizations and help excel and advance the overall benefit of society. Please join me in welcome Media and Dalibor to the stage.